So, the unscripted perspective. A thought deeply rooted in individuals celebrating their creative process, their breakthrough journeys, their lessons and obstacles faced towards achieving that one goal. It is a moment of pride for me, being in the Naval Fraternity myself, to have her on the show. She is multifaceted. She is a housewife, she is a golfer, she's a horse rider, a yoga enthusiast. She is well educated, well articulate, elegant. The list just goes on. And it's time for me to present to you Mrs. Payal Soni.
The introduction has kind of made me think that I'm floating in the clouds or something.
Come on, and
very
you float
flattering,
so
to say the
effortlessly.
least.
It's amazing. It's amazing how you do it all. And before troubling you with the questions that come ahead, I really want to thank you for taking out the time. I know you are in between packing, traveling, pursuing your golf, all of that we were just speaking about. But you started golf pretty late, but of course you aced it more than anyone I know, actually. So what's your secret?
You know, I've always been an outdoors kind of a person, and the exposure to sports was always there. As soon as I got married, in fact, the exposure to golf was there because my husband is an avid golfer. He has always been a golfer. I was more into faster sports. Golf was never high on my priority list. So two things actually got me going with golf, two incidents. So the first was when Satish and I had gone to a golf resort for a holiday, and he wanted to play golf, so I walked with him to the course. So as I was walking back, I met a gentleman who was also going to play. So I told him that my husband is just starting off, so why don't you join him? And his answer was that I'd love to, but my wife is playing with me. She's just going to be joining me. So that really hit me, you know. And so that was the beginning, you know, the seeds were sowed at that time. Then the second incident was in Kochi only, where Satish was posted. He was the CNC at that time. And he said that my retirement plan has got golf as the main agenda. And what is your retirement? What are you going to be doing? So you better make up your mind and you better decide you have some time to go. Because as we all know that life in the services is a whirl, you know, of social activity, of other activities. So I started learning golf, and Kochi was a good learning place to start at.
So who's the better golfer out of you both?
I'd like to say me, but he's much better. He's much better. He started when he was younger. I started when I was like, 52 or something thereabouts. So, so a lot of catching up to do.
Being a senior officer's wife, how was the experience of being a role model to many naval wives and, of course, living up to that reputation? I mean, did you charm them with your looks, or was there something else?
Yeah, you know, one has been part of the naval family for so long, and I have grown and matured, you know, learned so much in the Navy. The one thing that I have learned is that Navy is all about camaraderie and making friendships, developing relationships. So my aim has always been to, you know, make friends, be nice with people, invest in relationships. As a senior officer's wife, I hate the word. I've always put myself in their shoes, and I have not, you know, just thought of myself and what I want or what I want other people to do. It's always been about, you know, seeing things from other people's point of view also.
You literally leave me in awe every single time. With each answer of yours, there's so much to learn, and, you know, we all have so much to learn from you, Soni. It's just amazing how you do it. But, you know, talking about how seamlessly you have kind of come into the, you know, fraternity, and how you've your interaction with people, your belief in how you said investing in people, the relationships, the little things. My next question to you is that do you come from an armed forces background, or if not, then how has that switch been? Transitioning into the Indian Naval Fraternity.
I don't come from an armed forces background, and we used to live in the Kant area. And in fact, most of my friends were army officers' daughters. And so the exposure to the armed forces way of life was always there. Here, I would like to read out something. अगर किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो, पूरी शिद्दत से चाहो, तो पूरी कायनात उसे पूरा करने की कोशिश में लग जाती है. So I married a police officer. And life has been great. Life has been great. I mean, I just went with the flow. So there was no really transition required or needed. I grew up in that environment, even though I'm not from a background of any armed forces background, so to say. But the environment was there, and things were just they fell into place.
Wow.
So,
that is inspiring. And of course, Shah Rukh Khan's dialogue from Om Shanti Om.
Yeah.
That dialogue literally touches it.
It is so razor sharp. He's so good with his. He's so sharp.
No, so you've had the armed forces connect while growing up, even though you weren't from the background as such. So how did you meet Admiral Soni, if I can ask?
Very, very unromantic.
Okay.
Didn't meet him while in the club or at a friend's house. No, nothing like that. Not even suggested by any relatives or friends or anybody. It was very boring, actually. So my mom always had this thing कि Greater Kailash का कोई लड़का अच्छा सा हो जाए, मिल जाए, या Satish family is from Greater Kailash, actually. We met a couple of times, and he was very sweet. He didn't ask many questions, but I wanted to make sure that, the vision or, what I had imagined life to be like in the services, would it be like that? So I told him that I was inclined, towards sports, and I liked reading, and I wanted to be independent. I was a little independent-minded and all that, and he fit the bill, as well as intellectually.
Yeah. It was meant to be.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Not romantic at all. Very, very, very drab. But after that, the romances blossomed. And we are still very much. We are, in fact, more in love with each other now than I am quite in love with him.
That is so cute. I am sure.
Can't vouch for him.
Of course, you were the president of NAVA, southern and eastern region, of course. So my question to you is that in today's times, and this is, I think, a very critical question, in the armed forces fraternity, with the husband having a transferable job, and with, of course, women now being more career oriented, wanting to climb up the ladder of success, according to you, how do you think the naval wives of today, how are they making that balance between, of course, contributing to the Nava and, of course, climbing up that ladder of success?
Yes, most young naval wives today are following a career or have some interest of their own, and they are not just extensions of their husbands or their careers or whatever. Having said that, I would say that I have observed since I have been in touch with the youngsters, and we do travel to the various other commands. The young wives today are quite happy to contribute in whatever capacity they can, and in whatever time they can invest or they can give, they're quite happy to do that. I feel that if you're part of Nava, in some manner, in whichever manner, you do develop a feeling of bonhomie and a feeling of belonging to the wider naval family. And most youngsters, young wives, they do realize that also. That's what
I think they see it more as an either or. You know, you can either contribute or not, and I think there are some who balance it also beautifully
yeah,
well.
we
So
balance it pretty well.
okay, so I've asked you a lot of questions about the Navy and Nava, and you've been wonderful at answering it. But now, my next question to you is going to be more about how do you stay so fit? What is your secret? Let me get my pen and paper, note these tips down myself. But how do you do it, Mrs. Soni? What is your fitness mantra?
Yoga and being happy and at peace with myself, being whatever condition or whatever situation one might be in. So I started doing yoga when I was 9 or 10 years old. That has been my father's legacy to me, because he was always doing yoga, 1 hour's yoga in the morning, breathing exercises, and he put me on to it. So that is the mantra, I would say.
Wow, no, but that just sounds so disciplined, everything that you do.
Just everything controlled. Little eat in moderation. I have a sweet tooth, so I try and
Same here.
avoid other things. Keep space and calories for the the desserts.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay. Now, moving on from your fitness mantra to more on your academic qualifications and credentials. I think it was dad or mom who told me that you have an LLB
yeah.
qualification as well. But yeah, no, my main question to you, of course, was how did you, manage, or rather oscillate between your career ambitions, your family, and I mean, this is a very cliched question, of course, but did you have to make sacrifices here and there in your pursuit of both?
When I got married, I was still pursuing my degree, and I apprenticed in the Delhi High Court for about 8-9 months, and then gave that up after completing my degree, and spent another 5 years or so trying to get my complete the company secretary degree, and worked in the corporate sector also for 2 years, about 2 years. Had 2 children along the way. I wanted to be part of my children's childhood. I wanted to see them grow. Wanted to be part of their growing up years. So I took this decision. I just decided to quit. I followed my heart, and I'm glad I did. No sacrifices involved. It was my own decision, and I'm glad that I did it. In fact, after that, I did a B.Ed as well and taught for 6 to 7 years. And quitting one thing, even though I quit, but the knowledge remains, and the exposure remains with you. It doesn't go away. It helps you in your various dealings in life, in the various situations, in bringing up your children, in educating them also.
Okay, so now I'm done with the major grilling sessions, of course, of those questions, and you have wonderfully answered them. And of course, I've taken a few points down myself, which I can imbibe, hopefully, through the grace and perfection that you have done so. But now I'm going to do a little fun session with you. And of course, our viewers already know it. It's called Not From My Script. So it's basically a very simple rapid fire round where I'm just going to ask you questions, shoot questions at you rather, and you would have to be spontaneous and tell me what you would rather prefer. This just helps me and my viewers understand who Mrs. Soni is, and as she unscripts herself, who she really is at her core. So, are we ready?
We are absolutely ready.
As a naval wife, you have moved many stations, of course, and I completely relate. As I tell people, I have been to 17 schools, moved all around. But if you had to pick a favorite station,
my favorite station, Kochi.
Kids or grandkids, who, in your opinion, does a lady love most?
Obviously, grandkids. You're too busy bringing the kids up. You get to enjoy the grandkids.
Yeah. Now, the next one could be a bit tricky. I think women are asked this a lot. If you had to choose between your father, husband, son.
So the answer to this, in my opinion, is very simple. Each has their own place in my heart. I mean, none of them can replace each other in that little section or segment. So for me, there are no favorites,
You
no
still have to
views
pick
being
one.
first, second, or third. There are no first, seconds, or thirds.
So the next question, of course, I think is a bit, I think I know the answer, but I'm still going to ask you, are you more of an indoor or an outdoor person?
You tell me. I'm
Obviously.
an outdoors person.
Yes, yes.
and
Okay, so now coming to the last question of our not from my script round. I know that you travel a lot, Mrs. Soni, with your family. So if you had to pick a favorite destination that you've traveled with them.
Whenever we have the time, I mean, if I was given the option, I would always head to the hills because I love to trek. I love the beauty. I love to be in the beautiful surroundings of the hills. You know, it's the hills which call out to me always. So I just want to say that, you know, to close, that Navy has had a really big hand in shaping me and my personality. I am the person I am today because, you know, I got married when I was 21. And to date, I feel very much I became part of the family and made wonderful friends along the way, met lovely people, and the association continues to nurture me. So, thanks to the Navy. I'm
Wow,
happy
that was
family.
very emotional to hear. Being from the Naval Fraternity myself, I think it just never leaves you, and you
And this
rather,
really comes from the
we're
heart.
always your part. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely agreed, Soni. I think we all feel the same, and I think we're always part of the Navy first before anything else. So
You
absolutely. But
never disassociate yourself, even though your
never,
husband
never.
retired or anything. I mean, I still
Yeah.
feel very part, and I
We have come to the end of the show, of course. And viewers, please tell me which were your favorite moments in the entire show. If you got emotional like we did here, but do mention all of that in the comments below. And we come to the end, of course, to this. And Mrs. Soni just wanted to thank you for being a part of the show and unscripting your life's journey with us. It was truly, truly, truly an honor to have you. And you've literally made my day, making yourself available for this.
Shruti, I also feel honored to have been chosen by you to, you know, represent at least the naval retired fraternity.